Welcome to the In Love with PMDD podcast, where we dive deep into dating with PMDD, PMDD relationships, stress, triggers, PMDD rage, and really understanding how attachment styles play a role in PMDD relationship. So I am Dr. Rose, your PMDD relationship psychotraumatologist, and I've personally suffered with PMDD for over 19 years, and I've dedicated my practice to help you stop the monthly PMDD breakups. My dissertation, the phenomenological study of the relationship experiences of partners of individuals who suffer with PMDD, gave me insight and tools on how PMDD affects the partner who has PMDD as well as the partner who does not. So each week, I'll be sharing my specialized trauma transformational tools to help you rewire your PMDD brain, get rid of the stress during the luteal phase, and finally have the relationship that you both desire and deserve. So whether it's understanding PMDD triggers, controlling PMDD rage, or healing past trauma from events that have happened in your relationship, this is your space to rebuild your relationship, empower you to connect with someone while having PMDD, and ultimately grow stronger together. So to get private PMDD relationship counseling sessions or for more PMDD tools, go to inlovewithpmdd.com. Now let's get into today's episode. We got this. So I'm really excited to do this episode. As you know, I am dating with PMDD and I just came off of a date straight from the golf course. And I really wanted to talk to you because this individual that I went on a date with is a very prime candidate for being an amazing PMDD partner. So, you know, I created the course, My Partner Has PMDD, Now What? And there are 6 characteristics of a supportive PMDD partner. And I go in depth with that. So if you've not gotten the program, go to inlovewithpmdd.com or the link in the show notes and you'll be able to get that program with the whole layout of that you can give to your partner and even just get for yourself to just know how to tell your partner what a supportive PMDD partner looks like. But I wanted to show you in live, live action, real life, what it looks like to vet someone if you're dating, if you're going out on dates and you're how do I know if they're going to be a good PMDD partner? Because as I told you before, I dated and I didn't date for PMDD. I just dated and then I just hoped, I did that hope and a wish. And I hope they're a good PMDD partner after the fact. Because I was dating most of the time in my follicular phase and I wasn't realizing that I'm not always like this when I'm in my follicular phase. And so I'm in PMDD right now and I've literally made it a point to date in my luteal phase so that I'm able to see how I react. He's just texting me right now. So I'm able to see how I react to the person, how they interact with me, the PMDD me, the luteal me, because the follicular version of me and my personality is completely different from the luteal version of me. And I've come to terms with that. I just know that it's a thing. I remember earlier in my journey, I tried to deny it. I'm I'm the same all month long, but I'm really not. I'm really actually not. But what I have learned is I can be amazing all month long. It's just a different version of me, but I don't try to be the follicular version of me anymore. I remember exhausting myself trying to have the same amount of energy, to have the same amount of bubbliness, to have the same amount of love of interacting and being an extrovert and socializing. I tried to do that in my luteal phase and I ended up suffering. And so I felt good about the fact that I was putting off this persona, I can do it, but I felt horrible about myself because my poor cortisol levels were high because your body doesn't lie. When you're experiencing stress within your body and your cortisol levels are high, your PMDD symptoms are going up. So anytime that you're experiencing stress, just know that your PMDD symptoms are increasing. So even if on the outside it looks like you're great, on the inside, your PMDD symptoms is somebody's turning up the dial. And I remember being in that place of being I remember thinking how much longer can I keep this up? I was feeling good about myself, but then I was also not because I knew it wasn't sustainable. And so I just decided that whatever state that I'm in, that I'm going to be that way with whoever I'm connecting with. So if you meet me and we go out on a date in my luteal phase or we go out on a date on my follicular phase, I'm going to be whoever I am in that moment. I'm not going to try to be any different version of myself just to see how you interact with that. Because like I said, my ex had a lot of issues with the luteal version of me, like who I was in PMDD. Did they have a problem with me in my follicular phase? No. If I could have stayed in my follicular phase the whole time, it would have been a completely different story. But that's not the case. And so I can't live in delusion. I can't live in like la la land and literally think that who I am in my follicular phase is who I am all the time. And so I just committed to that. So I noticed, let me run you through this because I want to give you like a real life example of me being in PMDD and dating. So number one, I set the date for 4 o'clock and I was still recording another podcast. I was editing it and all the things around like 3:40 something. And so I guess he had been, no, I saw he had been texting me, but of course I'm recording. And so, he ended up calling me because I guess I wasn't responding to the text messages because we were going golfing and he wanted to know if I needed like an extra set of golf clubs. He was like, hey, cause it was it's not Top Golf. It's like an actual golf course. So he was trying to figure out, did he need to bring like clubs or was I good? And I wasn't responding because I was recording. And then I guess I wasn't responding and he was trying to leave out the house. And so he called me. Number one, I immediately felt the trigger, right? It's nothing wrong with feeling triggers from people that you're dating and you're in a relationship with. So I just want to let you know that. So I didn't think like, oh my gosh, he's the problem because I felt the trigger. Like I was already like in the zone, auto zone. And then he called and I was triggered. So I noticed that. And I was like, oh, like he's one of those people where if you don't answer his text messages and he sends you multiple text messages, he's going to call. Like duly noted. That's one thing that you have to do is you have to study your partner. You have to study the person that you're dating in order to understand their patterns and what they naturally do. So I got that. I'm like, okay, so he called me and I immediately pressed ignore. Like I was in PMDD. I was like, ignore, like decline. And then, um, I finished like all of the editing and then I called him back and he said, hey, what were you doing? Sleeping? Again, I'm in PMDD. So of course I took offense, like no chicken nugget. I'm not sleeping. I'm actually a businesswoman. I was working. Like I could have gone down the rabbit hole of being like, who do you think I am? But I just noticed that I had that kind of like reaction to things, like, cause I'm in PMDD. I'm very self-aware to know that's a me thing. Like I'm thinking like that because I'm in PMDD, because if I was in my follicular phase, I would just immediately be like, no, I was just doing this. But because I was in PMDD, I immediately felt offended. There's nothing wrong with you having negative thoughts in PMDD. I'm going to repeat that. There is nothing wrong with you having negative thoughts and emotions in PMDD. It is what you choose to do about them that does the damage in your connections and your relationships. So the fact that I had this negative thought, I think I need you to start looking at it like it's an outside entity. Like, oh, like, cause I remember being in PMDD sometimes and my PMDD brain says these comments and I'm like, dang, that was harsh. Like I would never say that. Like, it's almost like you're in a closet. You pick and choose the things that you actually say. And so I was just like, no, I was, recording a podcast. So I was doing this and he was like, oh, okay. Like, anyway, I'm doing this. And he was like, I just wanted to know if you needed clubs and blah, blah. And I was like, hey, I'm going to be 15 minutes late. One of the biggest things that I use is like a kind of like a gauging tool for those who I'm dating while I have PMDD I always have PMDD, but, is time management. I remember so many times in the past, I've been with a lot of partners that the fact that I'm late and I'm always late, I just know that about me. And I know that about me because I'm doing a billion things. It's not like I'm sitting on the couch eating bonbons. I'm trying to manage a billion things. I have a daughter. I homeschool my daughter. I have a dog. I walk my dog all the time. I have another whole separate career that I manage. I have my clients with PMDD. I have a podcast. I have, clients that I email, clients that are texting me all the time. So I have a lot of things that are going on in my life. And I just can't be with someone that is so triggered by me being a couple minutes late. Not because I'm disrespecting them, not because I'm thinking that they're less than me because they have to wait. No, it's just because I'm always in the realm of like, I'm a first responder. And I recognize that when I was on the plane the other day and I was going to La La Land, I was going to LA before the California wildfires and someone passed out. And they were like, are there any medical doctors? Are there any first responders? Like, that's me. So I feel like when you have those jobs that are very stressful, very like high strung, like you can't be with someone that's so rigid and will take something that you're doing to just help other people as a blatant attack on them. Like, I never, never, never want to disrespect anyone. I never, never, never want to disrespect anyone's time. But I also know that I live a busy life and that's not slowing down anytime soon. So if I already automatically meet someone and they're triggered by me being a couple minutes late and I give them an explanation, I'm not saying I just show up and I'm like, hey, I'm here. You're lucky I'm here. I say, hey, I was still doing homework with my daughter, or hey, I was doing this. And like they're understanding, like they have empathy. That's the sign that they're a good PMDD partner and or companion, because they're willing to take themselves out of their discomfort of whatever they had to do, sit in the car for 2 minutes or whatever it is, and really understand the perspective of somebody else and not choose to be pissed off about it. But I understand even they get triggered. I understand if they get triggered because I'm a couple minutes late, like I expect it. And so I go in if I'm ever late, and I'm not always late, but if I am, I just explain like, hey, I had this going on. I'm so sorry. Like I'm very apologetic. There's no egocentric or like narcissistic, like, oh, I'm like, you should be lucky I'm here. Like, no, I'm very apologetic and I will try my best to be on time, but a lot of times I'm not on time. Like, my closest friends lie to me about the time. Like if we're supposed to like show up to like go somewhere at 4:30, they'll tell me 4, which is perfect because I'll end up getting there like 4:20 and they're like, oh, good, you're early. And I'm like, what? So it's like a thing. So basically he called me. And the first trigger was that he called me and I was just like, well, what's going on? And then, cause I had my phone on do not disturb. Whenever I'm recording podcasts, I have my phone on do not disturb. But if you call multiple times, it'll go through because it thinks that it's an emergency. And so then when I called him back and I'm like, hey, I'm doing this. And then he said, oh, are you sleeping? Like that was another trigger. So I had a choice of like how I responded to that. And then he was just like, okay, well, I just needed to know if you needed extra clubs. We're going to be here. Here's the address, all the things. So I drive there and then I kind of calmed down from that trigger of being offended by him thinking that I was asleep and I was doing nothing with my time, because he told me why. He was like, oh, I was just calling you because I'm leaving the house and I needed to know if you need extra golf clubs, because I have a set of golf clubs. This is not Top Golf. You need golf clubs in order to go there. You're probably not going to like my golf clubs. All the things. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So again, I didn't have the attitude, right? It's not what happens. It's your attitude about what happens. I drive there and he's already like in the golf cart, has all the things. Trigger number 3, because I'm like, wait, I thought we were going to be in the parking lot, like we were going to meet and walk in together. He's like, I got there early, I got the golf cart. Immediately I got triggered because I felt like, oh, so you didn't wait for me to get there in order to start. Like in my PMDD brain, you're already like golfing like 75 rounds before even getting to me, which no, what he was actually doing was getting the golf cart, getting the golf club set up and getting everything set up so he could just pick me up right from my car. So like this is how I can tell you, you're like, your PMDD brain will play tricks on you. Like, don't listen to your PMDD brain, because I could have gotten an attitude by the fact that he already had the card, because in reality, he was really setting everything up so it could be like less, stressful for me. He's like, hey, you don't need to sit at the front desk and get the card and get this and see me pay for this. I have everything set up for you. So I had to regulate my PMDD brain. Again, this is what I mean. When you're dating and you're in your luteal phase, or in a relationship in your luteal phase, there are going to be multiple triggers. There's going to be like, pew, 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 like they're doing this and they're doing that. And you have to literally tell yourself, they're just trying to do this. Like you have to talk to yourself and literally say, this is the reality of the situation. Like, calm down, chicken nugget. Like, don't get pissed off. He was just trying to get the cart. He was just trying to do this, like whatever, because PMDD will make you think that everything is malicious. Maliciously, I'm thinking that he's already playing golf. He's having a good time. If anything happens, he's going to have a good time without me. Like, he didn't care whether I made it there or not. Like, this is the way that your PMDD brain will spiral. And then I got in the cart and he was like, no, I just didn't want you to wait. And so I went ahead and got the cart and I'm coming to pick you up by your car and all the things. And I'm like, oh, this is why you don't let PMDD make you look like a fool, because you don't immediately react to it. If I would have got in the cart and be like, you over here playing golf without me and blah, blah. Like, I would have looked like a fool and he probably would have never talked to me ever again in life. But because I was just like, oh, thank you. Because you shut your mouth. Whenever you have these triggers that are going on in PMDD, you shut your mouth. Whatever accusations that you feel, until you have evidence, shut your mouth. I don't care how convincing PMDD is. You do not go reacting to your partner. You don't go acting different, because then you're going to feel guilty and you're going to feel stupid. You're genuinely going to feel stupid if you figure out that the thing that you thought your partner was doing that was malicious genuinely wasn't. And then your partner's going to think you're crazy. You're going to feel stupid. And then you're going to feel like, oh, it's just PMDD. I guess I can't be in a relationship. No, just whenever you see the triggers, you feel the triggers, you acknowledge it. Because I acknowledged it. I was like, oh, I'm triggered by the fact that I arrived. I thought he was sitting in his car, but he's really already got the golf cart. He's already put the golf clubs in there. And I acknowledged that I was triggered. And then when he explained, this is where we go into the investigation, then it's like, oh, okay, is there really a reason for me to be triggered if he was actually trying to make things better for me? And I've seen this happen so many times to my private clients where they've gone to be mad at their partner and they're like, he didn't call me all day long and he was doing this and this and this. And then you find out that he had something stressful with work going on, or you find out his phone didn't work, or you find out some other reason other than the fact that he was maliciously trying to not answer your call. And then you look crazy for reacting to him, leaving him 75 voicemails and ain't rage texting and all of these things. Like, just pause, take a moment, think it over with Twix, take a moment before you react. You need to be absolutely sure before you react. And so I was like, oh, okay. So that was another sign that he showed me that he was generous. Like, he was not selfish. He was very considerate. Another sign of a good PMDD partner and or companion, because he was trying to set things up to take care of me when I arrived. He didn't wait till I arrived. He said, I'm going to take care of things before that. And then we started to play golf, and I haven't played golf in forever. Now, I do know how to play golf because my first husband is in the PGA tours and all of those things. He's a professional golfer, like a golf instructor. And so I know all about it. But I haven't played in forever other than Topgolf. And this was obviously a golfer, like, who does it like all the time, like a prime hobby. And I know from being married to a golfer that if you golf, you really golf. Like, it's a thing where I'm pretty sure he's vetting me. Like, he's wanting to be in a relationship with someone who's open to either golfing or understanding the world of golfing, because it's a different world when you're in a relationship with someone who golfs, because it literally, let me break it down for you. I was in labor with my daughter who's 15, and my husband had PGA on the daggone TV that they had in the labor room. Like, golfers are intense golfers. It's an all-encompassing sport. Like, it's one of those hobbies that really kind of take over your life. And it's not it's such an amazing sport. It's such an amazing hobby that I remember when I met my ex, and he was already a golfer, and we were so different in age. Like, he was 15 years older than me. Like, can you imagine? So, like, I was 21, he was 36. So, like, we got married I got married young. He got married at like a regular age. But I remember I was just finding out about myself. I really think sometimes, I was talking to my dating coach, and he doesn't believe that, like, wrong time, right person kind of thing, like that you can meet the right person, but it's just at the wrong time. But I genuinely believe a lot of the things that me and my first husband, we argued about or whatever, it had to do with the fact that I was not in the same place in my life. Like, he was in this established place. He knew golf was his thing. I was 21. I was just getting to know my thing. I wanted to learn. I wanted him to be my thing. Like, I was in that realm of not really having a hobby and wanting my partner to be my hobby and just spend time and all these things. And I was just young and wanting a family, and I wanted that to be my main thing. And he was like, I'm a golfer and I want to have a family. I value that, but this is a big part of my life. And a lot of the time that he was spending golfing, I wanted him to spend at home, specifically after our daughter was born. And that was like a form of like contention, because when you golf, it's something about it that's just like, you can't not do it. Like, it's almost like if you're not doing it, you're thinking about doing it, you're signing up for other things. It's kind of like me with raving, like with the dancing, where I'm like signing up for other like festivals. I'm like, oh, they're having one here. Like, you're constantly thinking about doing the hobby. And I think if I was in a place like this age, like the age of 39, where I was like fully established with like, what are my hobbies? It would have been way easier, because when he was golfing, I could have been raving or doing other things that like I was specifically passionate about. But I think if you're in a relationship and you and your partner don't equally have hobbies that are the same way that they consume you, then it's a problem, because you're going to start to resent your partner, specifically in the luteal phase, for not, like being there for you. Like, if I was raving and my partner was doing whatever, like I wouldn't mind, because I had my own thing. Like, they have their thing and we don't have to have the same thing. It's just about having a thing that you're doing that brings you joy. And so I really think that when I married so young, I didn't really know myself. I knew that I wanted a family, and that's pretty much all I knew. My identity was willing to be shapeshifted into who I was with. Like, I was in that phase where whoever I was with, like, I could see the pattern. Like, when I was with different partners, I would like shapeshift into, if they like this, I was like I remember one time I was like looking at football, and like I think I talked about this in a previous episode, and they were like into like Alabama, and I was like, roll tide. And I still to this day don't know what happens in the game of football. Like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why there's so many people out there. I don't know why they keep blowing the whistle. Like, but I was seriously with the jersey, like all of the things, because that's what they were into. And so my way of being in relationships, I noticed that I kind of immersed myself. So when I was coming back to golf, I was actually enjoying it today. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I literally said that as I was getting ready. I was like, I could see at this age in my life how I could enjoy golfing. I could see how it can be a really good hobby activity for me to do. Like, it takes 5 or 6 hours to go through 8 holes. So that was, or 18 holes. So that was another thing. Like, my husband was always gone because he worked, and then he was golfing, and then he was always gone, and always gone on tournaments. And it's not like a short, like couple hour things. It's like 18 hours or 18 hours. I keep saying, oh my God, 18 holes and multiple hours, and then come home and then just want to go to sleep because you've been like out on the thing all day. It's just like, if you're a golfer, it's almost better for you to be with another golfer or somebody that's open to golf. So I really admire what my date was trying to do, because that's 6 hours in a golf course, in a golf cart, like talking, like we were talking about different things and blah, blah. And we were connecting. And so he probably wants to be with someone that's just open to it. Not even that you have to be good at it. He was like teaching me. So that was another thing. He had a lot of patience. So when I got there, obviously I told you I hadn't done it in a long time. He was very patient. So that was another sign of a good PMDD partner or companion, that when I missed it and I had to let go 2 feet, or I like chucked it and I like got up the dirt on the thing, like he was so patient. He was like, that's okay. Like, I'm pretty sure the next one you're going to get it. Like, he was so kind. And that was so attractive to me, that he was so kind and not like irritated and annoyed because I wasn't at the level that he was at. Like, he even did like a video. If you're on my Instagram, you'll see it in a couple days. Like, I'll post it. He did a video of me golfing. Like, he was like, you want me to see like when your best swing is? Like, he took multiple videos of me like swinging the club, whether it was good or bad, and gave really good encouragement. And I was just like, it really put me at ease. Like, there was no need to be like perfect. There was no need to get it right. He was just happy that I was doing it with him. And then we get in there. He like set my tee up for me. Like, I remember bringing the ball and the little tee thing to the thing. And he was like, oh, I have it right here. Like, I thought he was setting it up for him and he was setting it up for me. And I was like, oh, so he was like very generous in that way. And it was just like little characteristics that I saw in his personality that he's like, I got you. He kept saying that, like, no, it's fine. I got you. Or you're doing really good. Or you're like a couple, like, let me give you a little pointers on this. And like, and even when I would like do horrible, he's like, that's okay. Or like, oh, that was over there. Like, he didn't make me feel bad about it, even though he's way superior in the sport. And I admired that. So like, I would say kindness is a really big sign when you have premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Just being kind, even if you're frustrated, even if you're annoyed, Because I know at some points he probably was, because when you're a golfer and you want to like go down to like multiple, like we only played 2 holes. We like went to the range and we like hit a couple balls or a lot, and then he gave me some of his. So that's why I'm saying like he was very generous. Like I ran out of balls because I was like hitting them all over the place. And then he gave me some of his. He was like, "Oh, here's some more." Like, and it wasn't like a empathetic, like it wasn't like he was being generous, like a "woe is you." He was just like, "Here you go. Like, it's okay. Keep practicing." Like he was very encouraging, very motivating. And then he was very patient and he had empathy. He knew that I was trying. And so he was trying to encourage me the best way that he could. He stopped doing what he was doing. Because, people who are like very engrossed in an activity, like tennis, golf, like basketball, whatever, going to the gym. I've gone to the gym with people and they're just like, "I'm going to do my thing." Like they're so much into themselves that they're like, if you're struggling, they'll like leave you behind. And it's like, they just have the personality where they're just like, "Hey, I'm not going to let this impact my workout or my game or my this." And he literally stopped what he was doing and was like, "Let me see what little tweaks I can give you." And then when I would hit the ball or whatever, he would just be like, "Oh, golf is hard. It's like so many things to remember. Like you're doing great." And I just appreciated him acknowledging how difficult it was, like to just remember all the things and just being really considerate. And I told him that I was having a good time. And he's like, "Oh, are you having a good time?" And he knew that I was into the moon, because the moon was a full moon today. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, look at the moon." And so he started to like point it out, like, "Wow, it's beautiful." And like all these things. So like, I feel like he was a couple of things that make an amazing PMDD companion or partner. I can't say anything for our future. And that's what I learned about dating. Like I had to learn to like from my dating mentor that like dating is an event. It's not a relationship. It doesn't mean that we're about to get married, but I can admire like a lot of things about people. And the first thing is kindness that he had. Like if you're in a relationship with someone who has PMDD, you need to be kind and you need to be able to control your emotions in order to be kind, and not kind in a condescending way. I've been with partners that have been kind and inwardly I felt their energy and they really wanted to cuss me out. So you have to genuinely be kind. Like it's not a fake kind, like, "Oh, like that's good for you." Like I can tell the difference, chicken nugget. Like I'm not an idiot. Like don't be condescending, because people with PMDD, we can sniff that out. And the next thing is patience. Like you have to be patient for whatever comes out. And that's not giving a green light to individuals that are having PMDD and struggling with their emotions. It's not saying we can run all over you and all these things, but if I don't meet the mark every time, if I'm not on time every time, if I'm not, like, I need you to not have an attitude, chicken nugget. Like I need you to not make it worse by being pissed off by something that I'm genuinely trying my best. Like if you know me and you know that I'm trying my best, like be a little bit patient. And the next thing is have empathy in order to just say, "Oh, hey, it's not all about me. Like I understand what you're going through, or that must suck that you're going through that, or, oh, there's traffic," or whatever the thing is. Like have empathy for my experience and not just thinking about yours. And like, I don't give a crap what you're going through. I'm pissed off that you're late. Generous. Like you have to be generous and being able, and not just generous with, like, I'm not talking about monetarily. I'm talking about with your energy. Like you have to be willing to pour in. It can't be like a one-sided thing where it's like, I'm here to get something. And if you're not able to give it to me because you're in PMDD, like that's a problem for me. I've dated people and it's kind of like, they're good with me until I can't provide them what it is that they need. Like if I'm not the fun person, if I'm not the outgoing person, then it's a problem. You have to be generous in a way that's like, I'm here to pour into you. I'm not here to get my cup filled. I'm not only contacting you when I need something from you. I'm not only connecting with you when I need something from you. Like I've seen couples like that where, you're kind of like at odds, but like all of a sudden you get really nice when you want to have sex. Like you want your needs met or you want some kind of affection or attention. So you're kind of like, "Hey, hi, what's going on with you?" Like we can smell it out. Like I need you to be generous in a way that it's not all about you. That's the best way that I can describe it, that you genuinely are coming into connection and or relationship with someone and not thinking that it's all about you. And the next thing is not selfish. Like I just talked about, it's not self-serving. It's not like you're here to serve me. I'm only with you so that you can like serve these needs. And if you're not able to do it, then I don't have any use for you. So I'm not going to pour into you. Like the way my energy that I give you is contingent upon what you give to me, like a quid per quo. Like if you do this for me, then I do this for you. Like that's not a good relationship for PMDD, because when you get in your luteal phase, what if you do less? Then what is your partner going to do? Stop doing everything? It could potentially happen. And that's not a good PMDD partner or companion for you, because then you're going to feel the need and the pressure to show up a certain way and feel like if I don't show up this way and be this person for them, then they're not going to be able to give me the things that I need. It's almost like someone having money to give you, like you're at the checkout line at McDonald's, you don't have any money and they have the money to give you something, but they're just choosing not to because you're not showing up the way that they want you to be. And they're like, oh, well, if you would only be this way, I would give you like the money for the McDonald's. Like, okay, buddy, not a good fit. And the next thing is considerate, like where they're really tuning into your experience. Like a lot of times during this date, he was like, how are you feeling? Oh, you like this? Or, oh, that's good. Or, oh, you want, like, I didn't hit the ball like in the right place a couple of times. He's like, that's okay. We'll just put an extra ball down here. And I'm gonna put my ball before yours and I'm gonna let you hit the ball before mine. Like he just was very generous, where he could have been like, well, I don't know what to tell you. Like, and granted, it was my first time and maybe, we're dating. And so he's trying to like, but it was very genuine. It wasn't fake. It was kind of like, yeah, I know it's and then made it seem like it was no problem. I know a lot of times partners, and when they have to do these things in PMDD, they try to make you like punish you for it and like make it into a big deal. But he was basically making it seem like it was no big deal to be good to me, to be like a person that I felt safe and secure with and taken care of. And so I just wanted to talk to you about what it's like to date someone. I'm not saying be with someone. Date someone, be with someone who has these characteristics of kindness, of patience, of empathy, of generosity, of not being selfish and being considerate, because these are the key things that would make an amazing PMDD companion or amazing PMDD partner. And I wanted to allow you to see that in action, because I believe that a lot of the partners that are listening, these are little things that you can implement, little tiny things throughout the day that can show your partner that you're willing to be more supportive and you're willing to support them on their journey all month long, not just during the luteal phase. And if this is something that you know that you need help with, go to inlovewithpmdd.com or go to the link in the show notes. Get the course, My Partner Has PMDD Now What, is still on sale all month for the month of January. And then also, just continue to listen and get the tips and take notes. I would say that that's one thing that's been helping a lot of my listeners. Even if you listen to me on the go, if something resonates with you, even put it in the notes app. And it's really going to help you to understand what you need in a partner and also what you can do as a partner. All right, we got this. I love you. I hope these tools help you and your PMDD partner. If you have not enrolled to get the course, My Partner Has PMDD Now What, then you want to make sure that you are one of the first 12 individuals that gets the course for the month of December to get that complimentary private session with me. And then after that, it'll go back to regular price without the private sessions. But what this course is going to do for you is give your partner all of the tools that they need on how to be a supportive PMDD partner. What does that look like? I always say that your partner doesn't need more information. They need more implementation. They need more transformational tools. And this is the program for you. So I'm looking forward to you getting those tools in the program. And until next episode, we got this.